I'm Susanne Bendoraitis, a pastor here at John Knox. Teresa of Avila said that prayer is nothing more than being on friendship terms with God. For the next 3 weeks, I'm going to be doing a devotion each week on prayer. Sometimes we get it into our head that there's a right way to pray, a right way to connect with God. Sometimes I feel like I even need to be the right state of mind before I even come to pray. I need to be in the right place or in the right physical position. But what if there's no right way to pray? What if, like Teresa said, prayer is just opening ourselves to a friendship with God? One of my favorite books when I was growing up was Anne of Green Gables. And Anne is a very imaginative girl who gets in a lot of scrapes. And she always makes things very dramatic. But she has an interesting thing that I think can help us think about prayer today. She said to a character in the book, "Why must people kneel down to pray? If I really wanted to pray, I'll tell you what I'd do. I'd go out into a great big field or into a deep, dark forest. Or I'd look up into the lovely blue sky and see that there was no end to its blueness. And then I would just feel a prayer." So Anne is a little bit dramatic, but I think she's trying to pull away at those preconceived notions that we get about how to pray. Do we have to fold our hands? Do we have to close our eyes? Do we have to be in the right place before we reach out to God in friendship? When we do, as Anne Lamott says, say, please, help, thank you, wow. If we do what Teresa of Avila said, we just come to God in friendship. So as we look at these devotions for the next few weeks, I don't want to signal that there is a right way to pray. But I do want to signal that some of us have so many preconceived notions about what it looks like to be friends with God that it almost makes it awkward to try. So I hope in the next few weeks I'll give us some experiments to be able to try a new way to reach out in friendship to God. For today, I want us to do a little bit of what Anne invited us to. The first thing Anne said is that if she really wanted to pray, she'd just go out into a great big field or into a deep forest. What she was saying is that she would just go out somewhere that naturally makes her think of God. So I invite you to do that today. Go somewhere that naturally makes you think of God. It could be in your comfy armchair that feels like God is giving you a hug. It could be outside where you're hearing the birds and where you can see the lovely sky. And then Anne says that she would just look up at the great blue sky. But what Anne is saying is that she would notice. She would go where she naturally feels God, and then she would notice God and His activity, the grace that is drenched all around us. So I invite you to do that. Go to your favorite place, and then notice how you see God's grace draped around you. And then Anne says she would just feel a prayer. But maybe what she means is she wouldn't worry so much about what she had to say or what she thinks of herself. But she would just reach out to God with who she really is and how she's feeling in that moment. So that's our invitation for today. Go somewhere that naturally connects you with God. Notice God's activity around you, and then just be with God in that space. You are not alone. God cares for you, and so do we.